Tonight, we are all going to recite Slichas, special prayer that we recite before Rosh Hashanah, and it's traditional that at this time we're able to reach a new place in the service of Hashem, to give us a chashakoltan, to shake out of where we were before. So I'm going to share an incredible story that Rabbi Ari Smith wrote in the Kvar Chabad magazine that you heard from the person the story happened to. And this story really gives us insight to the meaning of a tzaddik's vision for decades ahead, and reinforces our absolute emunah in the coming of Mashiach, and Rebbe's clear words, the time for our redemption has come. And let's go right to the story. So Rabbi Ari Smith will share with you the story the way he shared the story. He said that his son asked him about a certain job that he was considering taking, and his question that he asked his son, when his son was telling about the different conditions of this position, his son said that he asked his son, "What about pension? Are they going to give you a good pension?" And as he asked this question, he remembered his father talking to him about a certain position he was going to have, and how he asked his father whether or not this job was good, and his father also wanted to know about the pension. In a similar way, the story is about Rabbi Yitzchak Strasberg, who he had an opportunity for a new position, and the question was about the pension. But Yitzchak Strasberg was in charge of the Department of Health in Yerushalayim for many years. Right now he needs a refuah shlema. Yitzchak ben Ari needs a refuah shlema. And when he had a very prestigious position, but he had an opportunity to get a better position. So he went to his father to ask his father whether or not he should take this new prestigious position. Where was this position? This position was in a hospital called Bikur Cholim. Bikur Cholim means to visit the sick. And in 1867, this hospital called Bikur Cholim began in Yerushalayim. And this was 100 years later, in 1967, around this time of year, around Tishrei time, when a opportunity arose for him to take on the prestigious position of being the menahel, the administrator of the entire hospital. So it's a very prestigious hospital. We see in the writings of Rabbi Yosef Sonnenfeld how he wrote about how this hospital has it's really set up in a really amazing way, and it takes care of its patients. Rabbi Arbitzel Cook, who was also the chief rabbi of Israel at one time, he writes how this new building that they've built is beautiful and everyone should use it. It's a great hospital. So now when he got this opportunity to be the administrator of this hospital, and they told him the conditions of how they're going to pay him, he was very excited. But his wife, who comes from the Kedaner family, Chabad family, she said, "This is a dramatic change in life. You don't consider dramatic change in life without asking the Rebbe. So let's first ask the Rebbe and see what the Rebbe says." And her suggestion fell on ready ears, because this Rabbi Strasberg had worked before under Rabbi Shalom Goren. Shlomo Goren. Shlomo Goren was the chief rabbi of Israel, and before that he was the chief rabbi of the IDF. And Rabbi Strasberg, he had worked for a long time under this Rabbi Goren. And in his work under Rabbi Goren, he had opportunity to meet the Rebbe on several occasions. And so he was therefore excited he met the Rebbe, and each time he met the Rebbe, it made a very deep impression on him. And therefore he thought this would really be a good idea to ask the Rebbe's opinions. He was very happy. His wife was from Chabad family, so this was for her very natural, but for him also, it was something he had experience with, and he thought this was a great idea. So he wrote a letter to the Rebbe in great detail, describing the position, describing the opportunity, describing the salary, describing the pension, and he read the letter several times to himself, make sure that he gave the Rebbe a good picture of what this position was about. and he sent a letter to the Rebbe. A few days before Hanukkah, he meanwhile told the hospital that he's asking a very prestigious figure about this position, and he's waiting for his blessing before he could accept it. But he's very interested, and he's just waiting for this blessing from this prestigious rabbi. A few days before Hanukkah, the Rebbe's letter came. The Rebbe's letter is printed in volume 25 of the Rebbe's letters, page 36. The Rebbe writes, in general, the opportunity for this new position is correct, but then the Rebbe right away changes his tone and says, it's not clear, the financial conditions of this new position, including the pension, which really surprised him because he had outlined to the Rebbe very clearly the pension and the conditions. And the Rebbe further writes, it's not clear whether this job has security or they're just trying to try you out. And therefore, if those two things are accurate, if indeed that the pension is good and the position is a firm position, then it's something you should consider. Otherwise, don't take it, basically. So he spoke it over with his wife, and his wife says that, listen, the Rebbe is saying no. He's saying no he's saying a bunch of things, but this is a no. He wasn't so sure it was a no, and he was actually very interested in this position. It's a very prestigious position. So he went to two chassidim in Yerushalayim. One of them was Rabbi Nachum Sasonkin, who was then the mashpia. He was a spiritual mentor of the yeshiva of Baal Tanya in Yerushalayim. And he asked them, how do you understand the Rebbe's answer? And they told him that the Rebbe's answer is very clear. It's clear the Rebbe sees the great difficulties that will happen in this position in the future in regards to the financial package and especially regarding the pension. And one of the chassidim said to him, is a pension important to you? So of course a pension is important to you. Then stay away from this. That's what he told him. So he wasn't from a Hasidic background, and he didn't really like this change in his life based upon this advice. It didn't make any sense to him. Everyone who was involved in this discussion really couldn't figure out what the Rebbe was talking about. It was an established hospital. It was the most prestigious hospital at the time, and it's open for over 100 years. And they're offering a substantial salary with a pension. What does it mean when he said, he wrote it clearly in the letter, there's a pension and there's a salary and they're offering this to me, and there's it's very clear. It's not a maybe, it's not a could be, it's strong. So he told them he can't take the position, and they were all shocked. Years pass, and he merited to have many other prestigious positions. And in the beginning of the 80s, news came out that this hospital was having severe financial challenges. Every year, they were having a deficit of 20 million shekel. And by 2003, they announced bankruptcy because they were over $100 million shekel in debt. And they said that because of their debt, this company is not able to provide the promised pension that they had offered to their workers. You can imagine the shock and disappointment of these people who are working their whole life in this institution, and now in their senior years they won't be able to enjoy their pension. It really was something that really hurt many people. But this Rabbi Strasberg says, I was saved, and every month when that pension check comes, he thanks Hashem for the blessing he received from our Rebbe. And actually, in 2013, after 145 years, this hospital merged with another hospital called Shaarei Tzedek. That's what this hospital ended up being, part of Shaarei Tzedek. And he says the workers in the original hospital were not able to be admitted to the new hospital. When the hospital merged, they didn't take the employees with them. On the other hand, he said, in the merit of V'hoya Tzedek Ezer Masnov, in the merit of the tzaddik of our generation, our Rebbe, he was able to not have to worry about this. He's able to get out of this predicament, and Baruch Hashem, to live with long, healthy, good years, to have a full shlema. And the merit of the Rebbe's advice to him so many years before, 1967, and this is something that has happened only in 2000, in the 80s, in 2003, in 2013. So, bottom line is, as we're approaching the new year, we're thinking about the coming of Mashiach and the promise of Hashem in the Torah that the time of Geula is arriving, and all the signs of the Torah that point to our time being the time of Geula. So we have to have absolute trust in the Rebbe's words. And I know that not everything that seems to our eyes is real is real. There are things that we don't see with our eyes. The Rebbe does. Hashem help, we should celebrate tonight in Yerushalayim HaKodesh, and Mashiach Tzedekenu, end of all the Golos, end of all the Tsaris, and L'chaim, Akut Avach, Mit Hashem, see you later, Mit Hashem for the farbrengen. Good luck.